Do not back up. You know, I can't back up anyways.
That's right.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Is it propane turned off?
I'll get out and do that.
Well, we are about to do something we've never done before. We're going to cross the Chesapeake Bay, and there's a Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel. Is it a bridge? Is it a tunnel? We don't know. But we're going to go turn our propane off and see what we can see. So the toll across the bridge, tunnel bridge, is $34. The tolls have been kind of brutal today. We could have gone a route that didn't have tolls, but this is really just as easy. It's just a little bit more expensive. So we had one bridge that was $28 to go across. Then we've had a couple of $4 or $5, and now $34 to go across Chesapeake Bay.
And the height of the tunnel is
Oh
13 and a half feet. We are 12 feet 9 inches, so we've got good 9 inches to spare.
yeah. This ought to be fun.
Hi, and welcome. It's been an interesting trip so far. We left Utah in, what was it, mid-July, and went up to Idaho, visited grandchildren and our children up there, and then came back to Utah to get our Jeep fixed. And
Finally.
Finally. It took a long time. From there, because it took a little longer than we had expected, we just went out very quickly to Tennessee and North Carolina, and visited friends and family out there, and it was a great time.
We didn't video a lot of things associated with that fast part of the trip, but we did it, and we'll tell you about that another time maybe. So, well, in addition to seeing a family and friends, we also continued on north and stopped at the Washington, D.C. Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You may or may not know, this has been under a 4-year renovation project that finally wrapped up, and it reopened in August. That is the temple where Derek and I were married 46 years ago.
Quite a while.
We're embarking on quite the journey since then. So, and then we continued on up to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and we went to the temple there, and also to the see the Liberty Bell, and we saw Independence Hall and those
Some of the
things.
sites in downtown Philadelphia. It's a really cool city.
So after Philadelphia, we headed for the Outer Banks, but first we had to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Once on the Outer Banks, our destination was a small RV park called St. Clair Landing Family Campground. The reviews said that while it was small, it was clean and well run, and they were right. Pam met us right when we got in and helped us get parked.
Yeah. Now the site had water and electricity. It did not have a sewer hookup, but there was a dump station on site, and it was $65 a night, which was a bargain compared to what the other RV parks are in the area. We aren't ones that are really looking for a lot of the amenities. You know, we don't need a playground. We don't have any kids with us. Swimming pool, rec hall, all those kinds of things, which it didn't have, but that's fine with us.
Right.
We don't need that. And so we were much happier to pay less money
For a level campsite with good water and good electricity.
Yeah.
And gorgeous sunset views.
Yes.
as you can see by the sign, we are at the Wright Brothers National Memorial in Kitty Hawk, or actually I think it's Kill Devil Hills, but Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And this is where the Wright brothers did the very first flight. So, pre Two Restless Retirees days, which wasn't that long ago, maybe 4 years or so ago, we went to the Wright Brothers Museum in Dayton, Ohio. And I'm going to try to find some of those pictures because I don't know.
It was very interesting.
It was really cool. So there's kind of two connected sites, Dayton, Ohio and here. And so now we kind of get to close the circle and see where it all happened. So we're going to head into the ranger station. I've got the book, of course, and we're going to see what we can find. There's a ranger talk in a little while. It's going to be fun. So let's go. The impossible. Possible. Yeah.
On the grounds, there is a visitor center with many displays about the Wright brothers, their family, their experiments.
What do turkey vultures and the Wright brothers have in common? Well, they observed the turkey vulture as they were getting ready and trying to figure out how to do manned flight. How cool is that? Like, be curious, for sure.
And a replica of the original Wright Flyer I and one of the original propellers.
You can see it had two propellers. It had the control surfaces out in the front, rudder on the back. And this is one of the original propellers. You can see it's broken. The first plane, after they finished their fourth flight, a gust of wind came up and destroyed the plane. So all they had was pieces that they brought back with them.
Outside, there is a replica of their hangar and camp buildings, where they lived and worked while in Kitty Hawk. Note the huge green area? It wasn't at all like that 120 years ago. It was all soft sand. Since wheels don't roll through soft sand, the brothers built a rail system for their plane to roll on. Pretty ingenious. The granite boulders at increments along the field show the visitors how far each successive flight of the first plane actually went. This hill was used by the Wright brothers to launch experimental gliders prior to their manned-controlled flight experiments. Today, you can walk the half-mile to the hill and see the Wright brothers monument. Built by the state of North Carolina around 1928, it proclaims that Kitty Hawk, North Carolina was where controlled manned flight began, a claim disputed by Ohio, who felt they should have that title since the Wright brothers started their work in Dayton, Ohio. North Carolina won the day, though, by getting their monument up first.
So how did that famous day go down? The year was 1903. Wright brothers Orville, 32, and Wilber, 36, had been working for years toward their goal of inventing a flying machine that really could fly. Actual, sustainable, controllable flight. For years in Dayton, Ohio, the Wrights ran a printing press and bicycle shop, giving them the chance to understand machinery and eventually engines, flying machines, and controls capable of lifting people into the air. In their workshop, they built gliders, controls, prototypes, and more as they moved closer to motorized controlled flight. Eventually, though, the time came to just try and fly. They contacted meteorologists around the country searching for a place with enough wind and that was away from prying eyes, because as you may know, the race to be first to fly was very tight, and secrecy during development was a very high priority. It turned out Kitty Hawk, also known as Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, was exactly what they needed. The brothers experimented with gliders for the first couple of years they spent in Kitty Hawk, And finally, in September 1903, they were ready to try to fly. It took until December of that year to get everything in place, and on December 14th, they were set. Or so they thought. Let's listen to the Ranger tell the story.
December 14th, the Wrights finally feel like they have it set. They dress in their nicest clothes, and down the sand is a life-saving station for Kitty Hawk. They would wave a white flag and told the people from Kitty Hawk Life-Saving Station to come up there and help them out. They said they would, and they did. So these men came up, they set the airplane up, they got it ready to go. They flipped a coin between Wilber and Orville who would fly first. Wilber wins. He gets behind the controls. Orville's helping stabilize the airplane right along the wing. The engines are going. Wilber releases a restraining line and the engine and the plane starts to go down the rail, and he leans back and the plane goes up and right back down the ground. And it breaks. No controlled flight. But guess what? Wilber was ecstatic. He was ecstatic because he realized the issue wasn't the fact that the plane couldn't fly. It flew. It was how you controlled it. And he went a little bit too fast on the controls on the stick to raise it off the ground. So the Wrights went back to the shop. They were Kitty Hawk, started working again, fixed the airplane. Now it's December 17th. It's 34 degrees outside. There's ice on the ground. Winds are coming from the north at 27 miles an hour. Not the best day to try to fly. They're running out of time. They waved a white flag to get help. They come up from the Kitty Hawk Life-Saving Station. One of the men, his name was John Daniels. Orville had a camera set up over here. He basically asked John, hey, take the picture, could you? And John said, I've never taken a picture in my entire life. No clue. So Orville gives him this bulb that was tied to the camera, and he says, you see something happen, squeeze it. It's now Orville's turn to take the controls. Do you remember what happened when Wilber flew a couple days ago? Orville gets up behind the controls. He's on his belly. They get the engines going. Wilber's helping to stabilize the engine, stabilize the airplane, everything. Orville releases the line. Plane starts to move on the rail. Suddenly, he goes just slightly, moves it up the stick, and the plane takes off. Eight to 10 feet off the ground, blasts in the air for 12 seconds, 120 feet, and comes right back down on the ground. It was the first time there ever was a controlled flight from a heavier than air engine vehicle.
Today we don't even think twice about jumping on a plane, heading to a destination, and then when we're done, we turn around, get another plane, and come home. It's just like breathing to us.
Yeah.
And the convenience of being able to do that began right here in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, otherwise known as Kitty Hawk.
If you haven't already been to see the Wright Brothers National Memorial in North Carolina, we highly recommend it.
We do. And if you haven't been to the Wright Brothers National Museum in Dayton, Ohio, you should definitely put that on your list to see as well, because
They really go hand in hand.
they absolutely do. So it has been a really fun first part of our trip, and we have lots more to come. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button.
If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and ring the bell to get notified.
And until next time, restless friends, you take care.
Bye.